pose. Now, it isn't going to be a heavy-duty muscular workout. In fact, I think I'll stand up so you can all see me at the back. But there's a couple things to know. A lot of people think that they need to do weight training in order to create muscles, and sure, weight training creates muscles for sure. But the distinctive difference between yoga developing your muscles and weight training developing your muscles is in two different words: concentric workout and eccentric workout. So with a concentric workout, and who cares about that word? Let me just tell you that when you're working with weights, you're typically working, or a machine, you're typically working, you know, one muscle or a group of muscles typically, okay? And that muscle is in a contracted state. And that contracted state, if it doesn't get stretched out, ends up being a bulky, big muscle. Some people want that look. Okay, that's fine. But with yoga, we can still develop our muscles by using our own body weight, by holding a pose longer. And the thing that is different between weight training for developing muscles and yoga for developing muscles is that you are stretching and contracting at the same time. So then you get these longer, leaner muscles. So there's something, you know, to be said about both. But, you know, in yoga, I find, and I'm sure most of you do too, it's why you're here, why you practice, is that, you know, while we're making these long, lean muscles, because in yoga we stretch them as they're contracted, so you don't have to stretch afterwards. This is where some weight training people end up like this. I've seen guys, their lats are so overdeveloped and their biceps and triceps, they really can't even bring their arms down by their side. They're like that, like a monk, like a gorilla. And okay, but the other thing too is that yoga, when you listen to your body, is a very safe practice, and it also works your muscles. Now, or pardon me, your joints. So you're getting your flexibility, your mobility, balance, and I'm not trying to do a sales pitch for yoga, but maybe I am, because I really like this. And I guess you like it too, and that's why you're here. So the idea is, as I said in my note, find the exercises you like. Variety, like your diet, is a spice of life. You eat the same foods all the time, you're not going to get all the variety of nutrients that your microbiome needs. We will be working on the gut and talking about, you know, developing, you know, more core, stomach muscles, and we'll work on that a little bit today too. So, you know, we're going to get started, and I'm going to ask you to come to a standing posture, because I think I've said what I wanted to say, which is the main points about developing your muscles through yoga. So we're going to start in Tadasana, and then we're going to start at the front of your mats, because and if your socks don't have sticky things on the bottom, we will be moving into full sun salutations after this, and of course I'll address that in a moment. So in Tadasana, obviously this is an improvement for posture. It is working your core, it is working your legs. You're going to engage your thighs and lift your toes off the floor. Even just by lifting your toes off the floor, you start to feel your thighs engage, and then lay your toes back down onto the floor. And then lift your sternum away from your pelvic floor. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Push them back. Bring your shoulder blades together, and then bring your shoulder blades down your back. Now you're probably feeling this in the front of your chest. Good reason. As soon as you start moving stuff in the back, it's going to affect the front. And because we're in so much forward flexion, these muscles are staying contracted. So now you are stretching them. Okay, and pull your armpits down. So feel what that feels like, because this is a healthier position to be in for respiration, for digestion. And of course, you're going to let your chin float parallel, horizontal to the floor, crown of your head floating up in Tadasana. So your toes really aren't doing anything at all, but you feel rooted and grounded through your big toe mound, your baby toe mound, and the center front of your heel. Now, When your feet are really engaged, you're going to be feeling this in your thighs. Yeah. In your inner thighs. So your adductors, abductors, adductors, abductors. All right. These should all be engaged right now. Even your butt's involved. But just to stand up straight involves your core. So we see people, you know, as people get elderly, it's exhausting and they can't even stand up straight. Well, if we keep developing these muscles through our yoga practice, we end up dying before we get old. Okay, I'm signing up for that program, and I think you guys are too. All right, inhale and sweep the arms up and overhead. Now interlock your fingers and then turn your palms up and stretch up. Reach up, so you're feeling your waist lift out of your hips. Breathing. And one more inhale, stretch up. Exhale, float your arms down, taking up lots of space. And you might notice one shoulder, one arm being a little more tender. Just pay attention to it. Send it some love. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Now interlock your fingers with your pointer fingers released like a steeple, and bring your arms right beside your ears. Keep engaging your thighs here, reaching up, stretching up. Now inhale, lift up, and I'll do the mirror image. So exhale and bend to the left. Bend to the left. Don't lose any length here, and don't worry about going too far. Last week we talked about inhale, come straight up. Back off from the 100%. I have to do this 100%. 80% is good. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. You know, sometimes when we overdo things, well, not only can we injure ourselves, but hopefully we don't even get to that point. And then inhale, reach up. It actually stresses the body. Now, if you're running a marathon, okay, you're going to be stressing your body, of course, but we're not running a marathon. We're just trying to keep the best possible vitality and assist the body to do what it knows how to do. Drop your head back. Just let it fall back. Bring your arms back beside your ears. Stretching the front of the body. Inhale, come back up. Release your hands. Exhale, softly bend your knees and float your torso down, bringing your fingertips to the floor. Please relax your neck, let your head hang, and just breathe here. And give your head a little bit of a shake, because maybe you got some tension in your neck from the cooler weather this morning. But you know, that cool weather, that coolness on your face is a way of reminding you you're alive. It helps you be present. All right, now bend your right leg. Place your right hand on your left instep. Right leg bent, left leg is straight. Your right hand is on your left instep, and then sweep your left arm up, twisting, turning. We're just warming up the spine here. Reaching up, you can wiggle your little fingers. Exhale, float it down. And then bend the other knee, straighten the other leg. So now your right leg is straight. You're going to put your left hand on your right instep, and you're going to sweep your right arm up, and you're twisting to the right, reaching up, stretching up. So you're stretching on the side that the leg is straight. Exhale and float it down. Let your head hang and slowly roll up. Now, always press your feet into the floor so you feel rooted and grounded. As you slowly roll up, keep your chin tucked into your chest, and let your head be the last thing to come up. And one more time, bring the shoulders up. Exhale, roll them back, and then bring your arms behind your back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Now, I'm starting to feel a little bit of more heat than I'm wanting to, but how are you guys doing? Especially the ones, should I take it down just a bit? Yes, because Jennifer's already got some clothing on. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so it will, yes, and there is a child in the back room. So, all righty, release your arms. So we're going to come up to the fronts of our mats. I'll put some music on. And prepare for sun salutations. So this is full sun salutations now. And sun salutations is truly a perfect exercise in terms of the fact that it works every muscle, every joint, artery, gland, vein, and organ. If you only did your sun salutations a few times a day, you would get a tremendous workout. So if you haven't done them before, just listen carefully to my cues. Inhaling in place, exhale, hands in prayer. Keep your thighs engaged. Take your feet wide apart, so the width of your mat. Reach your arms up, look up, reach up, and arc back, stretching the front of your spine. And then inhale, bring your feet back towards one another, engage your thighs, lift your arms up, lift out of your waist, fold from your hips, reach forward like an L shape, and then you're bringing your fingertips to the floor. Now, if you need to, bend your legs. If you can keep your legs straight, fine, but there are no prizes for keeping the legs straight. There is a prize for letting your neck relax and let your head hang, and that's called relieving stress. Take your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat. So note your front knee is right over your front ankle, your back toes are curled under. Keep your hands on your front knee and then lift up through the back leg and press through that back heel. Now, we're in a balanced posture, so focus your gaze. Inhale, sweep the arms up, keep your shoulders down, energy through your fingertips. Breathe. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, bring them to the floor on either side and just in front of your front foot, and then take your front leg back. Now, if holding in plank position doesn't work for your wrists or your shoulders today, please drop your knees now onto the mat, but keep your fingers active. If you are able to hold plank position, draw your heart center forward over your thumbs. I would rather your bum be poking up into the air than sagging like a camel back. So you can engage your core here, pull your bellies in, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat a lot. And now everyone release the knees to the floor if you haven't already. Flatten the tops of your feet. Slowly take your hips back towards your heels. So take them back, keep going, and we're going to stretch by holding this position for a moment, stretching through the shoulders, which we were just working. And then leave your hands exactly where they are. If you're tight in your upper back, you're going to notice that this position is going to be a bit awkward, but just do your best. So leave your hands where they are. Lower your forearms and elbows down onto the mat. And then keep your torso and your body nice and low. And what you're going to do is to try keep your bum in the air as you lower your chest and your chin onto the mat. So if you have a tight upper back, this is an excellent posture to be working on. But please be okay wherever you are. And then slide everything out behind you and flatten the tops of your feet. Draw your tips of your fingers back so that they are below your shoulders and lower your forehead onto the mat. Preparing for Bhujangasana, bring your shoulders in towards your rib cage and then press your forearms and elbows down towards the floor. This will move your shoulders away from your ears and your shoulder blades down your back. So the tops of your feet are flat, your toes are pointing backwards. You're going to press your hips and pelvis gently into your mat and then roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck and looking straight down at your mat. On an inhale, without using your hands, lift your head, neck, shoulders, chest off the floor. So you're not using your hands. Look, Ma, no hands. They're just there as guidance. You can feel your lower back muscles engaged. So breathe. The more our muscles engage, the more important it is to make sure you are breathing fully. Now, I realize, again, because you're pressing on your belly, you're not going to be able to breathe into your belly, so your breathing might be a little more shallow. One more breath in, lift up, exhale, lower down. Curl your toes under. You can come up onto your knees first and then lift your hips up, or you can do it in one fell swoop. And please walk your toes a little bit forward and then bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs, and have your ears just inside of your arms. Make sure you're pressing the heel of your hand into the floor, as well as all 10 fingers, so you've got some space, your carpal tunnel, under the palm of your hand. And then on an exhale, I want you to press your sits bones towards the back wall and attempt to straighten your legs. They don't have to be straight. You're going to feel, again, 80% of the stretch. Let's not do the 100 and put more tension in the body. Go for 80. Okay, lift your left leg up in the air. Look at your left hand and swing that foot as far forward as you can. If it doesn't go very far, drop the opposite knee, pick the foot up at the ankle, and place it back near the front of your mat. Okay, so your back knee is on, okay? And then sweep the other leg forward. And again, let your upper body just hang. Legs can be slightly bent. We don't want to hyper extend the knees and hurt the back of the knees. Bring your arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs. Now sweep the arms in front. Feel your thighs working as you bring your body straight back up. Feet apart for balance. Reach up, look up, arc back. Inhale, bring your feet back towards one another. Lift out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold. Now bend your knees, inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead, palms come together, exhale, bring your palms down into namaste position, prayer position. So it's wonderful that we have the sun out today for our class, and we're paying homage to the sun. There's no life on earth without the sun. Let's do another round because the first one was fun, wasn't it? Feel good. Okay, inhaling in place, exhale, hands in prayer, feet apart, reach up, look up, arc back, whatever amount you can. And then inhale, bring your feet back together, lift up out of your waist, hinge from your hips as you fold forward into Uttanasana. Remember, you can bend your knees here, but please have your fingertips on the floor. And relax your neck and let your head hang. Step your right leg back, drop the knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your front thigh. Focus your gaze, it's balance. Lift your back knee off the floor. Press through your back heel. This will be the anchor of your posture. Your back heel is the anchor. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Focus your gaze on the floor and breathe. Activate your fingers by holding an imaginary beach ball. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart. Bring them onto your mat and take your front leg back. So you're coming either into a push-up position or you're releasing your knees to the floor and putting whatever amount of weight into your wrists and shoulders that feels right for you today. If you are in plank, bring your heart center over your thumbs. Everybody engage their core. So engage your belly. Pull it up. Make it active. Press all 10 fingers into the floor. This is a nice stretch for the toes that are about to be shoved into winter boots for the next, I don't want to say, who knows, few months anyway. And then release your knees. Flatten the tops of your feet. Leave your hands where they are and slowly take your hips back towards your heels. So not only are we stretching out the shoulders, we're also stretching and lengthening the spine and the muscles of the back. And breathe. Release your elbows and forearms to the floor. Keep your hands where they are. I know there's a temptation to draw the hands up. Now your elbows and forearms may come off the floor, that's okay. But see if you can lower them, paying attention to your body and how it feels. Slowly come forward, stay nice and low. So as I said, for those of us who have a tight thoracic upper back, this posture from hunching over, not paying attention to our posture, this is excellent for opening up the chest, getting the shoulders back, and working out some of the tension in the upper back. You can also feel a nice stretch here through the abdominal region. So your chest and your chin are on the mat. Slide everything out behind you and flatten the tops of your feet. Draw your fingertips to align with the edges of your shoulders and place your forehead on the mat. Elbows into your side body, rib cage, and then press your elbows and forearms down towards the floor. So we can stay with baby Bhujangasana if we like, and let's all start there and then see where we go from there. If you think you might be progressing into a fuller form of Bhujangasana, you may wish to separate your feet, maybe as wide as the mat, and press your baby toes into the mat. So that just gives you a little more room through the sacral area. Roll the invisible alley with your nose so your neck is long and you're looking down at your mats. On an inhale, lift head, neck, shoulders, chest off the floor. Do not let your elbows wing out. This is where, now, if you stay in baby cobra, it would be okay. But if you're going to press up into the fuller expression, you want to keep your wrists, elbows, and shoulders aligned. So therefore, you may wish to try to press up a little bit higher. The tendency is for shoulders to come up, elbows to wing out. If that's happening, back off, come on down. Most people for years will not be straightening their arms. I mean, listen, a younger person, possibly. And the more we practice, the looser and more mobile our spines become. One more breath in. Lengthen as you exhale and lower. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. If you took your feet wider apart, bring them back hip width, curl your toes under. You're going to press your hands into the floor and then lift your hips up and walk your feet a few inches forward and bend your knees. Press your belly onto your thighs. Align your ears with your inner arms. Press your sits bones towards the back wall. This has a lengthening effect for your upper body. It also takes some of the weight out of the wrists. And then exhale, and press your heels to the floor. Now, my heels do not touch the floor in my downward dog. If I wanted to make my dog shorter, smaller, yeah, okay, I can get my heels to the floor. But I want to be in an inverted V. I want to lengthen my spine. Obviously, you can feel a great stretch here in the backs of the knees, the calves, and the Achilles tendons. Lift your right leg up in the air, look at your right hand, and swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward, and let your upper body just hang. Once again, the knees can be soft. You don't have to hyperextend or straighten the legs. You might just let your knuckles hang on the ground, and please relax your neck and let your head hang. All right. Bring your arms beside your ears. Now you may wish to straighten your legs or at least engage your quadricep muscles, the fronts of your thighs, arms beside your ears. Inhale, sweep the arms in front, reaching up. Feet apart for balance. Look up, reach up, and arc back. Inhale, stretch up, lift out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold, reaching as you stretch. Fingertips touching the floor. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reach up, palms together in prayer. And flat out and relaxing. Good work, everyone. If anybody needs to move because of the sun, it's so lovely to have the sun. And it's so nice that the leaves are still clinging to the trees. I actually said a prayer. I said, too bad fall doesn't last longer. Well, it is. Now, some of my other prayers haven't been answered, but this one has. Because it's so warm, that's why the leaves are still clinging. So I hope you're getting out and enjoying. So flat out and relaxing for a moment. Remember, we take this posture of Shavasana to allow the benefits of what you have just done to be absorbed by the body. You know, it's tantamount to mindfulness when we're eating. And it's interesting, I do the same. I could eat an entire meal without really tasting it, without noticing the texture or the temperature. So that's just called eating mindlessly. And you don't get the enjoyment that you would otherwise get when you're mindful. So Shavasana is giving the body the chance to imbibe, absorb the goodness of what you have just done. So just a quick little anatomy point here. There's about 650 skeletal muscles in the body, big ones and little ones, and all of your skeletal muscles are attached to bones via tendons. And then there are two other types of muscles. There are smooth muscles. And by the way, the skeletal muscles are voluntary. We activate them as we move. So it's a voluntary thing. We thought about it or we didn't think about it. We had to run for the bus, but it's a voluntary thing. The other muscle types are involuntary. So smooth muscle refers to digestion, respiration, cardiovascular, renal, that's your kidneys, and reproductive. It's all involuntary. Also your cardiac muscles, it's really a muscular organ. That's an involuntary muscle as well. And so all of these are being activated in terms of what we are performing today in class. Okay, so we're going to come up to a sitting posture. You can either place your hands behind the backs of your thighs, backs of your knees, or you can roll over onto your side, whichever feels best. And we're going to work on our core, practicing Navasana boat pose, okay? So the idea here is Bring your hands underneath the backs of your knees and press your shoulders back and lift your gaze. Lift one leg, lift the other leg, and just find that sweet spot of balance. So keep your gaze lifted, keep your chest lifted, shoulders down, and feel your core engaging. So it's not just your stomach muscles, your entire trunk is engaged. Now, continue to hold on to the backs of your legs and straighten your legs. But hold on and just straighten them. And breathe. Excellent. Okay, roll back. And one hand on each knee and just do a little rocking from side to side. So it's through pose progression, which is what we'll be doing in some of our postures today. We start and we continue to progress. That builds your muscles. So making nice little circles on your back to relax your lower back. And again, either roll over onto your side using your top arm to pull yourself up, or rock up to a seated position. And then once again, your hands are underneath the backs of your thighs. Find the sweet spot. Keeping your chest lifted, your gaze is upwards. So your neck is in line with your spine. Now remove your hands and just hold your bent knees. So the more you engage your core, the more you protect your lower back here. Couple more breaths. And let's roll back. And once again, one hand on each knee. Either rocking from side to side or making circles, whatever feels best. Good deep inhaling and exhaling, especially the exhale. Exhaling releases lactic acid. That's a buildup of when we use our muscles. That's what can make your muscles sore. So by stretching and exhaling, we release some of that lactic acid. Bring your hands underneath the backs of your thighs one more time and rock up. So now we're going to go for the full position. And you know what? We might fall out of it. I might fall out of it. It's okay. The biggest mistake is trying not to make any. So there really isn't such a thing as making a mistake. A friend of mine used to say, if I didn't make a mistake today, I wasn't trying hard enough. All right. Okay. So let's go for it. So starting in our beginning position, your chest is lifted, your eyes are gazing up. Take a good deep breath. Straighten your legs as much as you can. Release your arms. So of course, now you really feel your quads, thighs engaged. It's all happening. You're balancing, you're breathing, you're smiling. Or maybe you're gritting your teeth. All right, come on all the way down. Good work, everybody. Extend your left leg straight down in front. With your left hand, bring your right bent knee across your body. Extend your right arm out to the right side. And perhaps allow your head to gently fall towards your right outstretched arm. So nice stretch through the hips. And of course, a beautiful release for the lower back. Keeping your right shoulder on the mat. Inhale, roll back into the center. Draw the right knee up into your chest and bring your left leg, bent leg up. Extend your right leg straight out in front. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee and draw it across your body, extending your left arm out to the left side. And if it feels good, then allow your head to also turn towards the left. So just by holding a stretch rather than moving quickly through things, we get a chance to feel, know basically what's going on in our bodies. So it was Nuit Blanche, which is about a month ago, almost to the day, I think, but I'm not exactly sure, that I had a weird freak accident of falling off my bike, and I'm still feeling that, where I hurt myself in my hamstrings and insertion. So it's just, you know, can't say that I'm loving the feeling, but at least I'm aware it's not entirely healed yet. But it's better than it was. But I wasn't even sure that it wasn't healed. But holding this position gives us all a chance to check in and know how our bodies are feeling. Like a car, if it's making a sound or doing weird things, you know, we need to take it to an expert, find out what's going on. So I trust that many of you have people you go to, not to fill out a pain prescription all the time, but to figure out, how can I bring my physical body back into harmony? Physical harmony, not obliterating it or trying to pretend we don't have an issue. And the other thing about holding that posture, as you know, and I'm feeling it, it helps whatever is tense and tight to let go. And then inhale, bring your knee back and roll onto your back, bringing that knee in towards your chest. And let's bring the other knee up and let's take happy baby pose. So in happy baby, your knees are going to be wider than your torso. Your knees are very bent. If you can, attempt to grab your insteps. If you can't grab your insteps, you're going to take your ankles, arms inside your legs, and then if you're able, try to bring your ankles directly over your knees, with your knees just skimming the outside of your torso. So again, a beautiful release for the lower back, great stretch for the hamstrings, and offering good mobility in the hip area. So we're going to practice a pose called horse pose. And the thing about the horse pose, we'll do this in a moment, is that, you know, getting in and out of a car, getting in and out of a bathtub, we want to be as functional and independent as long as we can. So by practicing yoga, keeping our muscles supple, strong, but while we're working our muscles, we also, now I just lost my train of thought because I was going into another big point about working muscles. But it helps us maintain independence, strength, balance, fluidity, because we want to keep doing everything we like to do and want to do for as long as we can without having to say, I can't do this anymore, or this is too hard. Or the best line when I ask people about going skiing in the winter, well, I used to. How about ice skating? Well, I got rid of those things too. I used to. And I get that at some point we need to let go of certain activities if we feel they could be a danger to us. Okay, so bring your hands underneath the backs of your knees or roll over onto your side. And come on over onto your knees. And we're going to come up. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's do our plank posture, because we were just working on our core, but I want to continue because we just stretched it nicely. So plank posture. Now, options here, I'm just going to show you quickly. Plank posture, you can do it in this, or you can do it on your forearms. So you'll have to decide which one is going to work for you. And then you have 3 feet position. That's your foot positions. Feet position, foot position. That's going to be your hardest. This will be not as hard, and that's going to be your easy, your kickstand. And you're going to raise your arm up. So I want you to focus on your obliques. So we have internal and external obliques. These are the muscles that wrap around our waist. These are the muscles we use when we twist or bend sideways. You want these muscles to be strong and, you know, supporting the spine. All righty, so choose whether or not you think you can be in your full plank, Vashisthasana, or if you feel that this is going to be better on your forearms, okay? All right, so come on over, holding with your left arm first and reaching up. Remember your foot position. Stacking them is the hardest. Bringing one to the other side, beside one another, or your kickstand. All right, come on down and just take your modified child's pose for a moment. Knees as wide as your mat. Hips coming back towards your heels. Lengthening your spine, stretching through your shoulders. Release your forehead. And breathe. Inhale, come on up. And we'll do one more stretch for that left shoulder. We'll thread the needle. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up and stretching up. Exhale, thread it underneath the right arm and release your shoulder, the side of your face to the floor. And if it feels okay, tippy toe the fingers of the right arm straight out in front. And then draw your right arm back under your shoulder, press up, and let's do the other side. So, coming either onto your palms or your forearms, and then you're coming onto your right arm, and you're reaching your left arm up. So again, you may notice one arm stronger than the other, and don't hold it any longer than you can. I'm going to come out of mine shortly. And when you're ready, once again, take that modified child's pose. Take your hips back towards your heels, releasing your torso between your thighs. If you're able, forehead on the floor. You could also fold your arms and make a pillow and rest your forehead on your forearms if need be. Inhale, come on up, hands underneath your shoulders. Sweep the right arm up, reaching up and stretching up. Exhale slowly. Thread the needle, bringing it under your left arm, reaching through as far as you can. Release the shoulder and the side of the face to the floor and tippy toe the fingers of your left arm straight out in front. And draw your left arm back. Press up, curl your toes under, roll back onto the soles of your feet. Keep your knees bent, and please let your head hang and your arms hang like a rag doll, pressing the soles of your feet into the floor. Slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. Keep your chin tucked into your chest, and let your head be the last thing to come up. And give your head a little bit of a shake out. And let's just take our arms behind our backs. So your left arm first, and pull down on your elbow. So just releasing the shoulder, stretching through the tricep, bicep, and release. And then take the right arm in between the shoulder blades, take hold of the elbow, pressing down, feel the stretch through the underside of your arm. And release. Okay, so you're going to turn sideways on your mat, and then your feet are going to be turned out to 10 and 2, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, all right? And then bend your knees and press your knees out. I want you to be able to see at least your big toe inside, and then sink your hips down as deep as you can, keeping your knees spread apart. So this is called horse pose, and then bring your hands into prayer. So this is something, obviously creates extra mobility, strength through the hips, which we need to get in and out of a car, or just get up from a chair, get in and out of a bathtub. Keeping your torso straight and lifted. Nice, everybody. 2 more breaths. And inhale, pressing up. Release your hands. Heel toe your feet back in towards one another. And give your legs a good shake out. Okay, balance, tree pose, vrikshasana. I went for a wonderful walk through the Rosedale area yesterday. So just if you all know where the liquor store is at Summerhill, it's a nice liquor store. But there's a condo there. I'm just going to give you a little tip because you can park in the back, or maybe you have to buy some. Walk through the condo area and you can walk straight into some pretty interesting homes. And of course, the park, I think it's called Rosedale Park. But anyway, it's a beautiful place, if you're looking for a different place to walk. Okay, so we're gonna balance first on our left leg, and I'll do the mirror image, okay? So transfer your weight onto your left leg. Now, if balance postures, or if you know for sure right now balance isn't gonna be a good time, you may want to go over to a wall. And interestingly too, I'm not gonna move off my mat, but I used to find when I was teaching elsewhere, I would come off my mat because for some reason, I just thought balance was easier. So if you want to come off your mats and give this a whirl, you might want to do that. All right, so your weight is shifted onto your left leg. So you're going to lift the other knee up. So you're balancing. And remember, focus your gaze onto the floor. Now, can you take the ankle? And then bring your foot right inside of your thigh. Now, that may be too high. That maybe isn't going to work. So here's your other option. You can place it not on your knee. Never place it on your knee. Or if balance is an issue, then just put your toes on the floor. So see what works. If you have slippery yoga pants on like I do, I'm going to have to keep hanging on to my foot. But you want to firm up your outer thigh and press it into your foot. So your straight leg, you're firming up that thigh, you're pressing it into your foot, and of course you're pressing the foot into the thigh. And then I will do my one arm, namaste, one hand, because I have to hold on to my foot here. And if you feel inclined, open your branches. Keep your chest lifted. Nice work, everybody. Great. And release. Let's see what happens on the other side. How are we doing for heat? We still okay? I mean, everyone's going to be different here. How are you doing at the back for heat? Up or down? Or good? Heat. Temperature, not time. You're good? Okay, kids. Okay, because I don't want you to take off any more clothes. It'll be a different kind of yoga. Okay, so pressing now into the other foot. And as I said, if you want to try it off your mat and just see if it makes a difference, all right, but take your time. Please wait for your own inner cue when you're doing a balanced posture. Focus your gaze on the floor. Just listen to my voice. So lift the other knee up. And the higher you lift it, the closer your ankle will be. And again, you may wish to press your entire foot into your inner thigh, but press your thigh. Firm up the outside of that thigh, pressing it into your foot. Try to keep your shoulders back, chest lifted. So I don't have to tell you that you are working muscles big time, including the tiny little stabilizing muscles. So we have large muscle groups, 650 muscles we're responsible for. And you thought you had a lot of responsibilities. I just added 650 more. And release, give your legs a good shake out. Okay, take your block. Just gonna do a medium lunge posture. And take your block, this is the widest length. And yes, if anybody requires some agua, water. Okay, so you've got your block between your hands. If you don't have a block, when you're practicing this at home, just imagine you have a block. Okay, we imagine all kinds of things in life, so this shouldn't be a big stretch. I imagine living in a mansion on the water. Okay, so step your right foot back. Make sure your front foot is 90 degrees forward, and then bend your front leg. Now, knee over ankle, or look down and see that your calf is in line with your heel. Different things speak to different people. Your back foot, about 60 degrees forward, and remember to press into the outside of your back foot. That will be the anchor of this posture. And then inhale, reach the arms up, and press your hands and arms into your block. Now, if you're feeling a torque in your hip anywhere, make sure that your hips, your shoulders are square to the front of your mat. If they're not, square them up. If you're struggling to do that, separate your feet a little wider apart so that the front of your body, shoulders and hips are squared with the front of your mat. And then lifting your block up towards the ceiling and pressing into it. So this is a perfect example of eccentricity, of eccentric working out. You're working your muscles and you're stretching them simultaneously. And release and bring your back leg forward and give your legs a good shake out. Tech guy's working hard back there. He's not having a nap. Okay, so step your other leg back, your left leg. Once again, if you're struggling to get your hips and your shoulders facing the front of your mat, widen the space between your feet. Front foot 90 degrees, back foot 60 degrees. Bend your front leg. Now you may wish to spread out a little bit, and this, of course, will activate more of your quadricep muscles. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Reach up. Now you're pressing that block up towards the ceiling. So as I said, if you're feeling a torque through the side of your body, widen your stance. Press your hands into the block. If you don't have one, imagine you have one. You're lifting up and you're pressing. So you can really feel your arms working. If we weren't holding the block, you wouldn't be sure. So reach up again, a little higher. Exhale, lower your block. Turn sideways on your mat now. Spread your feet wide apart. Take your arms up to shoulder height. Fold from the tops of your legs. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips tented on the floor. Let your head hang. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up, stretching up, and looking up. You're tenting your fingers on the floor with the other arm reaching up. Exhale, float that arm down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up, reaching up, stretching up, looking up. Exhale, float it down. Let's lunge over to the left. And you can bend your knee as much or as little as you like. You're just stretching out the lower back. Straightening the bent leg, coming up and lunging over to the other side as little or as much as you wish. Into the center, walk your feet in towards one another and lie down. Taking Shavasana. So this is where you may wish to put an iPad over your eyes. And make any adjustments that you feel you'd like to in order to find your perfect place of rest. Eyes are closed, separate the biting surfaces of the teeth and relax the jaw. We're going to do a form of progressive relaxation. No movements and no sound except my voice. Palms are facing upwards in the open and receiving position. Feel your shoulder blades. On the mat. As I name the body part, mentally, silently command it to relax 3 times. No movement. Feet, ankles, calves, thighs, hips and pelvis, abdomen, chest, shoulders, arms and forearms, hands and fingers, backs of thighs, buttocks, lower back, upper back and shoulder blades, neck, jaw, lips and tongue, eyelids and eyeballs, forehead, scalp, brain. Inhaling the life force long, full, and deep. And deep. Exhaling. Inhaling long, full, and deep. And deep. Exhaling. Inhaling very, very deep. And let it go. Keeping your eyes closed. And of course, you can stay where you are as long as you like, but if you're ready, roll over onto your side, bending your knees, using your bottom arm as a pillow, and just spend a moment in this semi-fetal position. There may be times during the day or the week when you need a little boost, and it can be as simple as putting a smile on your face, whether you feel like it or not. Smiling sends a message to your brain. And again, when you're ready, use your top arm to press yourself back up into a seated position. Thank you for coming out to share your yoga practice today. Namaste. Any questions or comments are welcome. Be sure to drink lots of water, and I hope you feel really good after working your muscles. All 650 of them. Because they'd be, any ones that are left out would feel really bad. Look at Martha, I love the look on your face. Look like bliss. And Sue, you were practicing from home last week? Where did you go?
It was in Oxbridge.
Oh.
She took it in. It was a little bungalow, like a two-story. She renovated the whole place.
Oh.
The spa place.
What's it called again?
I think it was Zebas. I'll send you
Oh.
the one. Salt room, you know where the salt is this deep on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
All salt bricks.